Drop a like and do share. Leave your comments and do not forget to subscribe for more videos.
Welcome to SAP UI5 training session. In this, we'll be seeing a table control, how the table control look like. So for that, what we have to do is, we have to go to API reference. So in this API reference, we have to see how the table is. So first we'll be going to SAP UI, and under this we have a table. So we'll see the table control now. So the table, how to use this table is here, SAPUI.table.table. So now we'll see in our code, we'll be taking, already we have a web content in this SAP UI5 app 2. So we'll right click this and we'll go to new and we'll say file. So now we'll be taking SAP table, right? Table.view.js. So again, you can say enter. So once we enter, so empty page will be created. So in this empty page, we'll be copying this because we need to start with the controller. Yeah, we are saving this, and in this we have SAP UI.js. It always starts with SAP UI.js because it's a JS view, and inside this we'll be writing an ID, SAP UI5 app 2, that means SAP UI5 app 2, and dot will say a table. So we'll be saving this. So now what we have to do is we have to use the controller for each view. Each view there should be a controller mapping. Why? Because whenever we do any operation, so that will be, if you want to make any changes, that time you can call the controller. So the functions which will be included in this, so it will be search in this particular controller what we did. In this controller it will search. There will be operations. Now, so in this create content we have to write a table logic. So what we do is this O table we create. So that is sap.ui.table.table. So we'll remove this sap.ui.table.table. So we'll create this, and once I save, and we have to return O table. And once we are using SAP UI table.table, we have to make sure it's there in the index.html. So we'll be going to index.html here, and we'll see whether we have included the index.html or not. So in this index.html, we have to make sure we will be including SAP UI underscore SAP UI.table, and we'll save. And here we need to write the logic it is missing. Like actually you have to call the view. So this is, the lines are missing now. We're gonna write that. So here we're gonna write. So what we're gonna write here, first we have to load resources, and then we have to call the initial view. So first we have to load resources. So load resources will be SAPUI5 app 2. So SAPUI5 app 2. ID is initial one, and now we have to call the view. So view will be called this dot. Now what we have is form, right? So there it is. We have a table now. So table. We have table. So we're gonna save, and we're gonna see SAPUI code.mvc.type.js. Okay, we're gonna add it to the page, and we're gonna add it to the content. This content. So we're gonna say this, and we'll be going to table view now. Yeah, in this table view, we're gonna write in this O table. We are going to return the table. Now we'll see how that works. So we're gonna right click this, and you can directly do this. And there is another way of opening the app is web app view. So one, yeah, you can call it this in an external browser like this. So once we do it, yeah, there is an error. So we'll see what is an error now. So right click, inspect element, console, see SAP table.view from this app to table.rel. That is not initiating. So it says app, the file is not found. So we'll go here. Initial one. SAPUI5 app 2. So we're gonna go to table. Will be, yeah, copying this, and we have to maintain the same name. So we are pasting here, and here also the load resources SAP app 2. I'm gonna save this, okay. And we're gonna see how. Now I'm going to refresh this. I'm refreshing, and still, yeah, resources by default. Yes, see, now the table comes. Yeah, the table is now appearing. So this is a table. There is no data, but there are 1 by default 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. By default 10 rows displays. By default 10 rows displays. So this is how the table is. See the table. This is the table content, and we slowly will add the table logic here. And I already have it, so I'm just copying it. So we have to create rows, etc. with the sample data. First, when you create table, we need data first. Then we can draw the table. So in this, we'll go now. So first what we do is we'll be taking a data. So we need data for the table. So this is data. In this data, what I have taken, the last name and the name, and then checked whether it is checked true or false, and then taken link text. So there is another column, link text, and then H reference and SRC, source of that. Okay, there are no images. So personal thing. So there is no images folder is there. No images folder. So what we do is we'll be taking as of now 2 rows. Two rows we'll take, and then later on we'll add this. So we'll add this. So we'll have taken 2 rows for now. So we'll remove the semicolon and we'll save. And then there is this. First we'll run the application. There is an error inside it. So yeah. So okay, that's okay. We'll see now. Okay. First, what we have to do is we have to create a data, and then we need to start writing the code for the table. So now O table. I've taken an instance. I've created an instance of O table here. O table 2. So it's SAPUI.table. So in this, taken fixed columns, title, and with visibility true with row count 7. Means by default row comes with 10 as we've seen. So now what we are doing is we are limiting it to 7. The first visible rows is 3. So the first visible rows will be 3, but in total it will be 7. And then now selection mode. There is another property in table, that is selection mode. So what is the selection mode is SAPUI.table.selection is single, means whenever we select it, we can't select multiple. We can select only one row at a time. So if you change this mode to multiple, then it will be multiple select. So how to get this? So we have to go to the table control. In this table control, we have to check the properties first. So what are the properties we have? We have width, column, etc. Visible row, by default it is 10. Visible row count is by default 10, and first visible row is by default 0. Now we are making it to 3. So what does this means is you have to click on that, so it will be getting this. So property of the first visible row, default value is 0. So we are making it to 3. And then what we have done, we have used selection. So we'll go here and check the selection. So in this we got select mode, selection mode. So we'll copy this. This is selection mode. So how do selection mode comes? So there is a property which we can set actually. So selection mode, when we set, we can use this type of information. So it can be multi toggle, none, or single. So what I'm trying to do now is I'm using single now. Now I'm using single. So here it is, single. Okay, selection mode is single. Now navigation mode. So navigation is nothing but if there are more rows, if there are more than 7, we have row count 7, right? So if there are more than 7, then the pagination applies. If not, those rows will not be displayed. After 7, if there are 8 rows, 9 rows, the 8th and 9th row will not be displayed. That also we'll check. Yeah, we'll check this. And this also will be doing it. And then it is a fixed column count. So fixed column count is first 2 columns will be fixed and the next columns, whatever it is, it will be varying. You can move. That's what it means. So now we have created a table definition. Now we are going to add columns to it. Now this is clear about visible row count, first visible row, selection mode, navigation mode, and fixed column count. So after this we'll be adding columns accordingly. So the first column, how many columns we have to add? That we have to check with data. What data you have and what data you want to display. So now what I'm trying to do is I want to display last name, I want to display first name, name, checked, that means a checkbox where the value is true or false. Then there is a link text, and there is a href, and there is a src. So altogether gender and rating. So altogether 3 plus 3, 6, 8 columns we have. So we'll be creating 8 columns now. So first column we are creating. So O table 2. So O table 2 dot add column will do. So in this add column we are taking a new. So in this new table UI table dot column. So once you add a column in JS view, this is the way. So add new column instance, and in this we have property called label. So we are putting a text to the label, that means header of this column, and the value is always taken in template. The template will be new SAPUI commons dot text view dot bind property. So what we have to take is inside this column first label, and then we create a template. So template is nothing but, so we are creating a template which will be repeated. There are multiple rows. So multiple rows, we need a proper template like a one control. We have to bind it. So we are binding it to a text view. How we gonna do? We are binding a property called text last name. So we'll go 1 second. Going to this last name. So we are binding in last name to this first column. So this last name we are creating here. So basically in this template what we are trying to do is we are creating and control instance and binding a property. So this property will go to text UI commons text view. We'll go there, SAP UI commons and text view. So once we go to the text view, this is the text view. So we'll click on this. So once we click on this, the text view will be appearing. So there will be so many properties for the text view, but for which property we want to bind it, that is what that line means. So we're gonna bind it to the text property. So we'll go here, see, we have a text and the text accepts string. So the last name is always string, so we are binding it to this text property and the last name. So I hope it is clear. The template, it's always a control. If you want to repeat the rows, so this is the way, and new one control name dot bind property, and you give text and the name of the value which you want to bind it. And then sort property, we do not worry about sorting now. Sorting, not worry about sorting now. So width is 200 px. So O table, add column, next column we are adding, that is first name, and similarly we are doing it for the value. See here text field, so text field as bind property value. So we'll go here and check text property. There's a text field. So in this text field, we'll go here and we'll check the there is a property called value. So to this value we are binding a name. So we'll go here. Yeah. Now it's gone. 2 over. Now 6 more we have to check. So next is O table 2, add column, the similar fashion, and O label. Now the label will be checked and the template will be a checkbox. So to this checkbox there's a property called checked, and we are getting it is checked. So we'll remove this property. So this will come from checked, means the value from the data. See, this is a checked property, so we are binding it. So this check is SAP UI Commons checkbox property. So we'll go here and check SAP UI.commons.checkbox properties. What are the properties we have and to which property we have binding it. So checkbox. So to this checkbox, we have properties called checked. So by default it is false. Now in our data what we are trying to do, we are setting it to true. So by default checked will be false. And then next column, we are trying to set a label called website. And then we are creating a template with the same way, SAP UI.link. There is another property for this link called text. Text is link text. So, and we are binding it for this href also. So there are two properties binding we are doing. So we'll go to SAP UI link. SAP UI link. So we are trying to bind two properties now with the two values from the data which is available for us. So we'll be going to commons.link link. So in this link we have few properties, so we're going to make use of that. We have a text and we have a href. So the text will be one and href will be another property. So we are binding it to these two properties. So we'll go here, SAPUI-commons.link.bind property, the text and the value, and a bind property, text and a value. And then we're not going to use sorters. Sorters will be a different topic. We're going to see only sorting, filtering in only one session. And then add column, another one with the image, and to this image we are binding it a source. So the source is from src, and then we have h-align. For this column image we want to place it in the middle, that is center we can use. So we can go to SAPUI-commons.image and we can check the src. So what is src? So image, and src is always having a link. Yeah, this is the UI. So SAPUI.co.uri means URI is nothing but uniform resource location. So we'll go here, h-align, that's fine. And now we're creating another column called gender. So in this gender, we are in the template, we are doing a combo box. Combo box has two items, so we are selecting whichever the value comes from the data. So we have two list items, one is female and another one is male. So we are binding the property called value. So this common box, we have a value property, so we are binding it with the gender from the data which we are getting. We will not use sorters and properties. And the next one is rating, the last one. This is a similar way. Like first we have to create a template, and then in this template we have to assign a object library. Then in this we have to bind property from the value which we have data. So we are doing it for the rating, so indicator. So now we got the data and we got the table. Now what we have to do is we have to send the data to this table. How the table will come to know that which data it need to be used. So we are creating a model layer. So we are creating a local JSON model. So this is how we create a JSON model. SAP new SAPUI.model.json model, and we are setting data like model name and a data, model data. So we are taking a normal name here and we are setting a data to this model, and this model we are setting it to the table. So this a data is our data. See, it's highlighted. It's a sample data which we have. So we're going to make use this sample data in this model, and then the model we can bind it to the table. This is how the table gets some data. And then we are going to sort. So sorting is not there for now, and then we're gonna return this OT. We're gonna return this table, and so that it will be displayed in the front end. So we're gonna refresh our table here, and gonna refresh this, and yeah, this is how the table. Table with fixed columns. So how it is fixed? 1, 2 are not fixed, 3 are fixed. See, the rating is how. Images are not available, so you can put some images over here. So there are only 2. So we're gonna see this, the last name, first name, checked, website, and then image and gender. And after gender there is a rating. So male and female. There's a drop down. The rating. The rating will be 5. You can take 3 rating, and you can give 1 rating also. Depends on here. So this is a rating. And then the last name, first name, and so on. So now we are trying to see how the table behaves with the changes what we make. So first thing what we do is we'll add more data to this table. So we'll have more data to this table. How do we have commented this? So we'll remove this. I'm going to add a normal column, and then I'm going to close this and save it. And once I save and I have to go to server, it's now synchronized. Earlier it was republished, it is synchronized, so the changes need to come. Yes, see, there is more data now. There is more data. So we'll check the columns. It's already there. There's a fixed column, so that's the reason it's a fixed. And then we have 1 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows, and there is 7 into, yeah, this many data is there. So it's more than 7. That's the reason we are using pagination. So this is a pagination comes. So once you say next also, next, yeah, like this, next. So we can make use of this. So we'll see first in the table control we have get the pagination mode. So we'll remove this pagination mode and see how our table behaves. So we're gonna refresh this. So once I refresh, see, there is only 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So where are the other records? They're not displaying. So that's the reason we have to add pagination, or else we have to increase the row count. So there's a row count. We'll be increasing the row count to 17 for now. We're going to refresh this. So once I refresh, it's going to see 17. So only 17. There are more than 17 now. More than 17. So if you want to take 27 and save it, 27 will come now. So this is how you're going to display. If you don't want to pagination option, you can have it. Once we refresh this, so the 27 comes. So this is how. So there was See, there is no scroll also. There is no scroll option also. See, once we minimize this also, this is a problem. So it's better to use pagination. So we'll go 7, save it, and we'll be uncommenting this. So we'll go here and we're gonna refresh this. So this is what we have. So pagination. So like this the pagination works. And then we'll go to, we'll put some image now. We're gonna see the image. Person 1, 2, person 1, 2. So there are only, so what we're gonna do is we'll be person.jef. We'll use some image URL now here, src. Or else we'll take, so here we're gonna add one image. So we are getting a source here. So in the netware only there is one mail platter. So I'm going to use that and I'm going to save it, and we're going to see, and this demo code. So this is a image URL I've used. I'm going to see the difference in this here. So I'm going to save. See, this is how the image comes. So we have to reduce the size. So for reducing the size, how you gonna do it? So we're gonna save this image, or else you can do a copy of this image and you can put it in an image folder here. So content. So here you will be getting a new folder. You create image. So images here and images finish. So in this you'll be pasting it. So you already copied it. So you cannot paste the clipboard content in the selected item. So you can't do it directly. So you have to save image. You have to do like this, the other way of doing, and we can directly give the content of that. So we know which path it is. So it is SAPUI app 2 and this web content. In this web content there is an image folder. So here we can save it. So once it's saved, you can close this. So once you refresh here, it should come now. Refresh, yeah, the image comes. So now you will be changing the images. Yeah, like this it comes. So what you're gonna do is you have to save this, and then we're gonna refresh this. Once we refresh this, so we're gonna see the URL of this, copy or open it in a new tab. So this is from the local. So this is from the local divisor, right? So we're gonna close this tab. We're gonna minimize this accordingly. So how are we going to do it? We have seen in the last session also, one of the sessions. So we're going to open this, and we're going to open this in the paint. Open it, paint, any editor you can use. So we're gonna crop. So we're gonna resize this to 50%. 50%, and then we'll see the difference. Now we're going to save this and close this, and we are going to see the code, and we're going to refresh this first. That is the first thing we have to do, refresh, and then we'll go here and we're gonna refresh our see, then our image size is reduced. Like this we can add images, and there is a table. So this is how the table control is all about. First we need a table data. First we need data, whether the data can be any raw data, or it can be a JSON data, it can be XML data, or it can be a O data. So once the data comes, we have to go and create O table. So once we create table, so we can define properties. So after properties, we have to add one column as per your requirement. For our requirement, we have 7 columns. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 columns we have. So this 7 columns we are getting the data from the A data, and we are, for using that raw data, what we have to do is we have to convert it into a JSON model, and we are going to do it. I'm going to bind it. So why we are using this name is because this one. So O table has a bind rows. So what we are trying to do is we are binding rows. Till now we have bind property. So here bind property. So once O table comes, it has a multiple data. So it's not in a single row. You want multiple rows. So that time you can make use of this. And we haven't seen one more thing, that is in the selection. There's a single select. So once we go to our O table, so we can see select only one. See the blue line. Yeah, see, you can select only one. So once we have a multi, and how it behaves is, we'll go here, code, and change it to multi. So multi we change, and we're going to save this, and we'll see how it behaves now. Refresh this. Yeah, see here, I'm going to select one, still selecting 2, press Ctrl, and so you can select. You can select all also. Okay, so it's, see, this is select all option. Select all, deselect all, select all, deselect all. So this is how multi works. So when it comes to single, I'm reverting back the changes, save it, and we'll go here, and we're going to refresh this. Once we refresh, see, there is no option over here. You see, there is no multi-select. So once Control, can select one, Control, select one, Control, select one, Control, no. So you have to press Control key and you can select manually, or you can directly select all over here if it is multi-select. Go for single select, this doesn't come, multi-select option doesn't come. So that is a difference between select, multi-select, and there are different selects also. You can make use of it. So as per your requirement, you can do it. So this is a fixed column example. You can have a normal column. How it is we can go here and we have a fixed column count, right? So we can comment this, and we have to remove the semicolon here. Sorry, column, comma, sorry. And we're going to save it. And once I save it, I'm going to refresh. See, there is no fixed column. So there will be normal columns. Normal columns. So this is how you Now, see, there is no fixed columns now. So we can directly see each column. Now this is all about table, and in the next session we'll see other examples.